Finally here, the video breaking down my student loan debt payoff journey, and specifically how I documented this journey, the framing for it on my channel here, Talks with TJ, because it was very intentional in centering the actual student loan debt payoff itself around the resale price of sneakers within today's market. Again, that wasn't by accident, that was very much so by design, because there were many lessons in there, and one, importantly, being just because you're able to do something, that's all well and good, but what you're willing to do, the actions you're willing to take to forego a want just because you can, to do something you absolutely want to do for yourself today and for future you, oh, that holds all the importance in the world. And I really hope that young adults took that message home because it paid off for me in the best possible way. Now, I took a little bit of time to get this video done in thinking of how I wanted to structure this, and also just to enjoy the first time ever of not having these student loans in my life since graduating for the final time in my education in 2012. So we're finally here. Okay, my goal for this video to break this down in very succinct chapters for you to follow along with my story. And side note, really loving this this Jordan brand cardigan. This is not to influence you to go pick one up, but it was certainly something that caught my eye. Shout out to good friends and people that look out for you and being able to secure this on discount, because I did not want to pay the full price, but we are approaching fall. It is the best time of the year, at least in my opinion. Best time for all the things, but certainly the weather and fashion. So yeah, I just want to point that out. Absolutely in love with this brand new cardigan. But okay, let's lay the groundwork for my student loan. So I graduated from undergrad in 2011, private university, Division III. Sports did not work out for me. That's perfectly fine. Now, I was fortunate enough to have quite a bit of free aid in scholarships, but then also in grants. I was a recipient of the Pell Grant and then other additional free aid, but that did not cover the total cost of my attendance. Again, this was a private institution. It was not cheap by any means, and the cost has certainly only gone up in additional years. And I know that because I was also an admission counselor for a short period of time while I was actually attaining my graduate degree while also there. So I fast-tracked and went straight through. I graduated 4 years undergrad with a bachelor's in finance, and I decided, let me just go ahead, rip the band-aid off, go straight through to attain my master's, which I did in a year's time, and I have a focus in sustainable business administration. Long story short, execute and implement intensive and extensive changes and plans within any number of environments, but I am the person that would be equipped to write that detailed implementation process, the plan, how you go about it, and that actually has carried over into what I'm doing for this year with Adidas. So again, you never know how your paths will cross, even with your passions. Okay, so 2011, done with undergrad. 2012, I am done with graduate school. Now, when you're completely finished, you will have a comprehensive, or at least you should, look at all of your student loans and what you'll have to pay back. And again, if I could do it all over again, I would. But then I also wouldn't have this story to share with you, so everything has a purpose. So, undergrad, and again, I have, like, it is right here, okay? It's right here. So, undergrad, $23,000. Graduate, $20,500. So you can also do the math there that for 4 years and all of the aid, it was only slightly more than that entire year of graduate school. Why is that? Because there was no free aid made available for my master's degree. So that was all done, again, with the choice of loans. So total, $43,500. That was the starting point. Now there's a whole additional video I can make on would I even advise a young adult to do that? No, again, the predatory practice of students being able to even take out these loans, it's something that needs to change expeditiously within our secondary education system. I stand by that now more than ever. Fast forward to 2020, and we have this perfect storm that was really there, available, and brewing. Now, I want to make sure that I actually go over kind of where I stood in 2020. So we know everything changed for so many of us, and I'm really glad I documented all of this, even in writing, because I can look back for my journey and be able to add a lot of context for this story. So by the time we reached 2020, my student loan balance at that time was $22,117, meaning I had already already paid off $21,383. Now, the plan I initially went with was the graduated payment plan, which means that you started off at a pretty reasonable amount in relation to your income, but it was meant to go up gradually every few years. I believe it was every 2 years, and you were basing that on, oh, I will continue to earn more money, which I certainly did. So I was never strained or stressed to make my minimum student loan payments. And I will say this, scream it from the mountaintops, I am beyond grateful to God and blessed that I've always been in a position, employment-wise, to be able to take care of myself and to not require outside assistance, but that also took a lot of discipline and understanding that I needed to make the main thing the main thing. And that's always my needs being taken care of and those minimum debt payments also being met. So 2020 arrives and a lot of things are uncertain. What's going to happen? Well, I was blessed. Again, it was the perfect storm. It was just the environment set up for me to take hold of these opportunities. I applied for a new role. Essentially, that was a promotion, which also meant a higher salary base. Now, I was still doing YouTube at that time, and then also working part-time at Kids Foot Locker, if you guys remember, as an assistant manager, and that all shut down too. So the pay change there, it didn't make sense anymore with this higher salary base for me to continue to go to Kids Foot Locker. I was also burnt out on resale. I just wanted to focus more so on my career, on my own creative, endeavors with YouTube and all the various doors those opened, which we can talk about that in a little bit because it certainly did open doors, and that led to me being able to aggressively pay down my student loan debt. But there was this no more perfect, I think, setting laid before me than me being able to take advantage of being in forbearance. So as we know, student loans, especially federal, were placed in forbearance, and all of my student loans are federal student loans, or they were federal student loans. So they were in forbearance. This is a grace period. Now, if you were someone, you needed to take that grace period to spend that money on your needs, the roof over your head, food on the table, utilities, getting back and forth to work if you were able to work, 1000% understand and get that. Once the dust settled and I realized financially I was as stable as one could hope to be during that time, I wanted to take the initiative to take action with my student loans. I didn't just want to feel like I wasted this time because I knew I would never get another opportunity like this, and nor would I want one for this country based on the situation we were in. So what did I hope to achieve by a series in which I showcased the extra principal payments I made on my student loans, but comparing that to whatever the specific resale price may have been for a sneaker in the secondary market at that time? Well, trying to, I think, reach young adults, and again, it's usually me trying to reach adults younger than myself because these were things I wish I knew when I was in my younger 20s, and being where I am now, if I can help educate young adults to just make a smarter choice, then that's always something that I'm open to doing. So the medium of sneakers is really how I'm connecting in terms of these videos, and to frame it around sneaker resale, that's something that young adults, I think, who are into sneakers can understand. They understand what that resale price of a retro is at $400, $500, but I'm saying, hey, I'm able, more than able, to have made that purchase. It's not always about what somebody is actually doing, because you may assume that they're just not able to because they don't have the money. No, a lot of people have the money to do things, but it's, are they also willing to just go and buy and pay for that item at the going rate, or would they rather do something else that will be much more impactful long term? And that doesn't mean you have to stop buying sneakers altogether, because you all saw me still treat myself to plenty of sneakers, clothing, streetwear, a number of things from 2021 through 2024 in which I aggressively paid down those student loans. So again, it was never to say you need to do this as all or nothing. No. So that was something else I wanted to drive home, is you can do a little bit of both, okay? It doesn't have to be or, it can be and. If you are in a position like myself in which you had disposable income to be able to make the extra principal payment, but also to still treat yourself within a reasonable sense based on your income, you could do both. And I think that also keeps you, as some would say, a little bit sane, right? You're addressing those wants, but the need of taking care of future you, that is also being addressed in a monumental way. And so I really hope to have brought that message to young adults, and that series began, and we see how it ended. So let me dive a little bit more, though, into, I guess, how I started to shift my perspective and how sneakers really came into play there. When it comes to creativity and sneakers, yes, it's opened amazing doors. And yes, I earn income from YouTube, in which you watch videos and the ads play. And yes, that is how I'm paid, through AdSense. And it's not that I thought, oh my goodness, like YouTube is going to be this insane stream of income in which I can use that to fast track student loan payments. Absolutely not, because I had no idea what this would become when I decided to revamp my channel and, create talks with TJ and dive all in to this as much as I could, because this is not my career and I always have that to focus on first. So I didn't know what it would become, but it was great to have this additional stream of income. And for so long, that YouTube check, it truly just funded all of the additional wants that I bought for myself, okay? The sneaker pickups or essentials drops and any number of things that I bought for myself, because I bought so many things over the years. And newsflash, a lot of them I've already given away or sold at a really low price. So pull back, okay? It's okay to pull back now before you have to go through a massive sell like I've done. I just wouldn't want that for anyone. But YouTube checks were not a need, right? They were not paying the bills. It wasn't paying rent. It was just funding wants and fun, okay? It was a great disposable stream of income, which I appreciated. But then I also realized I could just shift how I chose to use that income to put me in a better position. Because once the student loans were gone, I would be in the position to buy far more wants, okay? Sneakers, clothing, whatever it is that I may have wanted. And now I don't even really care to spend my money in that way. It's crazy how it's crazy how reality hits you once you're there, the things that you really thought that you would want and the position you want it to be in. Once you get there, the journey can change so much for you. I really do just want to share that. It can change so much for you. But I realized I could just redirect how I was spending that money. And that's initially what I did. So for so much of those higher principal payments that I was making, and we'll get to those payments, they were made based on YouTube income. So if you are blessed and fortunate enough to have whatever you do creatively in sneakers or in fashion take off, because social media makes this opportunity available, utilize it to your benefit. Not just to continue to buy more stuff. And I understand it is kind of the thing of you buy more things and that's how you get the views. And I get it. It's kind of a chicken and an egg thing. But I think how you choose to intentionally use that income is very, very important. So I want to go over, just those payments, just real quick, from 2021 to 2022. And you can check the playlist here on YouTube, because I was very intentional in the dollar amount and the thumbnail. I would always, and let me just say this, I would always find a resale price very close, if not identical, to the extra payment I was making that month on sneakers, or that month on my student loans, based on whatever the resale sneaker price may have been. So I wanted that correlation to make sense. So you had $512, $900, $885, $1,400, $900, $700, $750, $900, $455, $900, $700, $500. So that was close to $9,500 paid off from 2021 through 2022. Now, if you guys recall, we thought that student loan forgiveness would be a reality. I was even featured in Business Insider based on, this, and how I would use the money that would be given to me in relief, because you would not only receive money in terms of what you had paid, but then that remaining balance. So, and I was the boring person that said, hey, I would just fund my Roth IRA, put some money into savings, maybe travel a little bit, and that was it. But those are the payments that I chose to make. So recall, let's just look at this. I could have paid $9,500 towards sneakers on the resale market. I chose not to. It was a choice. I very easily could have. It was a choice not to do that, and I was hoping to share with young adults that you have choices in life, and the choices you make, they impact you so greatly. Another way in which sneakers open doors, I have my platform here on YouTube, and I simply enjoy talking about sneakers or fashion or just what may be on my mind in relation to these spaces, and even sports sometimes, because it certainly crosses over into footwear, because that's just what I love and I always have. And so if your passion can very easily earn you a stream of income, then why not? That's great. And I've said this before in videos and I'll say it again. You never know who's watching, who's observing, who's taking note of how you present yourself, the way that individuals may gravitate towards you, what is the message, and if they think that you would be a great and a fun representation of themselves. Because guess what? We are in a world where brands are utilizing just everyday individuals on social media in campaigns and in marketing, and there's certainly money to be made there. Now, I am not a full-time creator in any way, shape, or form, and it's just simply not something that I would choose to pursue full-time. I personally love working, okay, in corporate America and the capacity in which I work, and I love structure and stability, and that is not what you get if you are a full-time creator in any way. But additional income was made available to me through opportunities, whether it was, eBay. I've done projects in the past with Nike. I've been on assignment with New Balance, Adidas. Again, beyond blessed and very fortunate to have had these opportunities made available to me. But it's not based on just what is in front of you, but what are you choosing to do with those opportunities? And for, so many additional checks that I received, additional streams of income. One, I always made sure to put that money aside for taxes, because you will be taxed on that 1099 income. Please keep that in mind, okay? Whatever money you're earning, whether it be social media, if you're on a paid campaign for any of these brands, it's great. Please make sure that you plan ahead for taxes. Uncle Sam will want his cut. So I would first plan for taxes. Two, I would look to see what additional amount I could apply towards my student loans. It wasn't always the entire net amount that I took home after putting money aside for taxes, but it was certainly something. And that stood firm and consistent with even the very last payments, those last few bigger payments that I made. Again, being on assignment with Adidas, earning money that way, I intentionally chose to apply those payments towards the remaining principal balance of my last 3 student loans. I was on a recent campaign with eBay in which I also applied majority of that check towards those final 2 payoff balances for my student loan. So it was all about intention. It was certainly maximizing the opportunity in front of me. And if you are blessed and fortunate enough, again, to have social media be I guess a jump off in a really direct way to earn money through things you enjoy, why not? Why not grant yourself freedom if that's in front of you? Now, I'll never forget one of you commented that, oh, I clearly paid attention in marketing classes in terms of how to finesse maybe the framework of a video, a thumbnail, or a title to get individuals to click on it. But it was really a lesson on, again, what are you willing and able to do with your income or an additional stream of income for paying down a debt versus just buying a sneaker on the resale market because you can. Yeah, you have to know how to play the game, the psychology of it all, what will get somebody to click, right? I do. I need young adults to click on the video. So if they were to see, especially in the hype of the Air Jordan 1 High Lost and Found, aka Reimagined Chicago, right? For young adults, if they were to truly, just tap in, like be just ingrained, right? And engrossed in this sneaker right here. Them understanding, oh, it's going to be a video about a lost and found. Well, it is. It's going to be a video about, I already own this sneaker. I could have easily doubled up on the sneaker in the secondary market and not thought twice about it, not have missed rent, food on the table, eating out, car payment, gas, none of that. Nothing would have suffered at all. But I made the choice to put that extra, let's say $400 at the time based on the market, towards a student loan payoff. And kids clicked. And for some, it actually resonated with you. And you realized, oh, I'm in a position where I too could take some of this disposable income. I could go ahead and buy a sneaker on the resale market, even though I have tons of pairs around me already. And I can just double back and spend the block and get that sneaker at a different time. And instead, I could clear some debt off of my plate right now today. Yes, okay? I had to be intentional in how I went about this and framing this series. And you know what? It's something that I am proud of till this day because I think it still did what I intended for it to do. It gave what it needed to give. And framing financial responsibility and accountability around something that young adults are truly interested in, that piques their interest for whatever it may be, I think you need to think of things in that way to really connect with them.
2,000 years later.
I've said before and I'll say it again, I'm not too fond of influencer or the title. I think it has been tainted in a way just based on how individuals choose to carry themselves on their platforms. And I'm not talking specifically within sneaker YouTube, but just as a whole on social media. And I think we have to accept that there is responsibility that comes along with a platform and there is some accountability there present. Now, that's not to say you as an individual, you have free will. Your choices are your choices. Even if you may be influenced by someone else, you do need to take ownership of your choices. But I'm also very self aware of the influence that I could have on you. So I've jokingly said I never told anyone to sit there and go buy like hundreds of pairs of sweats and hoodies, buy essentials. I haven't. I have not. Even when I in the past did these $400 hauls, which is crazy that I ever did that. In the first place, it was always done without, listen, not a single ounce of credit card debt, able to easily afford it, planned ahead for it. Those were decisions that I made for myself, and you always need to make decisions for yourself. But I've never wanted to just be someone that is just influencing kids to mindlessly buy and buy and buy. Okay, I do not, and I will not be the channel that is just telling you everything is a must-have and don't sleep and you need this and you need that. You don't. You don't. If I'm going to influence you for something, I want it to be of you being a more conscientious consumer, especially within sneakers, of always buying, first off, within your income that works for you. Okay, never jeopardizing or compromising your needs just for a want. It's a want. You don't need the sneaker. It is simply a want. Okay, so understanding the influence that I've had, I truly hope it's been a positive one in bringing something vastly different to my platform that you certainly won't see. I think I can confidently say you're not going to see someone probably frame sneakers in the way in which I did, because one, I don't look at sneakers as an investment. You have actual investments, okay? I've advocated greatly for people to invest in their 401k, take the match from your employer, invest in an IRA or a Roth IRA if you are within those salary limits. I myself fall within the salary limits for a Roth IRA, so I have a Roth IRA. I also do have a separate brokerage account. That's truly investing, okay? Let the market over time do what it does. You thinking that sneakers is an investment, I do not care for that. I never have and I never will, okay? But me encouraging you to just make sure that you are thinking of the much bigger picture. And that is financial stability for yourself. That is making sure future you is taken care of. And do you know who's accountable for that? Current you, present you today. So I really hope that I influence you to just make better choices. Make better choices with the money that you have. You can still enjoy sneakers, but just do it in a smart way. Now, probably longer than I intended for it to be, but I hope I laid out the story of my student loan debt payoff using the framework of sneaker resale prices in a very understandable way. If you tuned into any video from that series, I truly appreciate it. I just want to say this as well. The congratulations. I tried to get back to all of them if I possibly could on that initial video of making that final $3,705 payment. I will probably always remember that. I really do appreciate just the feedback, the support that you all have poured into the comment section of the video. I truly appreciate you all continuing to encourage me. Hey, be yourself in how you choose to, add value to sneakers, and it being more from a fiscal responsibility, perspective, and lens. And again, thank you. I will continue to do that. That's been my motive from day one, and it will continue to do that for as long as I choose to create on my personal platforms. And it's been a journey, but it's not one that I would change outside of maybe making the decision to shift how I chose to use the additional streams of income that I was blessed to have based on the hard work and dedication I put in around content, because this has not been easy. Again, this is not my career. And so you certainly may have noticed that I've pulled back on the cadence of videos that I have, and it's because I can, right? I will have a follow-up video to this of like, what's next? Because I don't have these student loans anymore. So what's next in terms of maybe how I approach things creatively and with the additional income that I have, and how did this past year, and I mean just a few short months, how did a lot of it change in terms of, hey, net worth and different things. We can talk about some of that, certainly, because I want to share kind of where I am, like, mentally, but so much can change, and you owe it to yourself to get to where you want to be. You really do. You owe it to yourself. I owed it to myself. I stuck with it. You guys were able to witness it. And I'm so glad that, I feel like we did this together, because a lot of you sounded off that you were encouraged to take better charge of your own finances, whether that be saving for a home, paying off a car, paying off credit cards, planning experiences and memories with your families through vacation, planning for kids going to school, whatever it may have been. You're chasing those financial goals. We both love sneakers, but it's not the end all be all. And we understand that, right? Sneakers will be there. We'll continue to love and appreciate them, but we had to take care of business. We had to keep the main thing the main thing. I did. I really hope that you are too. So again, I really appreciate you guys so much for being on this journey with me, and appreciating me sharing it with you. As always, act your age, not your shoe size. Peace.